Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I will talk about my pregnancy loss at 11 weeks, which took place a few days ago. A little backstory, um, if you go back into my old videos that I did at home insemination by myself, and as a single mom, that was my choice. And that took place, I believe, January 25th. And I found out I was pregnant at 3 weeks, which was February 13th. And my first ultrasound was March 16th, which was 8 weeks. And a little backstory that I actually had went to my OB March 16th, and he didn't find a heartbeat. I talked about this the last video, and my OB was very positive. At the same time, I can feel some, I guess you can say that I can kind of read him, but he was very supportive and positive to have hope. So we rescheduled my repeat ultrasound on April 11th, in which he has been on vacation. So that kind of didn't help with the fact that I should have actually had a repeat ultrasound within a week or two if there's any progression. But when he did my ultrasound on the 16th, I was measuring, which is 6 weeks. Um, I believe it was zero point 0.1 inches, in which I should be more, um, it should have been measured at 8 weeks, which is 2 months. And usually, when your HCG is elevated, which mine was, your you should actually have a heartbeat at 7 weeks. And at times, OB doctors have a hard time or challenge to actually find a heartbeat, so they tell you to come back. In which I went ahead and rescheduled, and the chances are really very slim, which is 5%, especially with my age. And so, which I'm 42, and I had my son at 38, and which was also, he was a month, he came a month early. I guess I couldn't hold him anymore. But anyhow, he turned out just perfectly normal with, I had a C-section. But with this pregnancy, it is definitely a different feeling, I would say. I just, as much as I had the pregnancy symptoms of having to urinate often, having the food cravings, food aversions, getting sleepy, tired, and um, the cramping started early, just that's within the whole, um, I guess, implantation. I, as much also, like, I just knew I was having the implantation just because I don't get cramps or even back pain. Um, Only back pain if I actually, or soreness if I did deadlifts. But I had avoided that. Um, the first month, I believe, when I was having the implantation. And so, anyhow, um, with the whole pregnancy, I mean, I was short of breath at times when I would, or get exerted, when I would do my cycling or my kickboxing, had to like take a full breath. So I knew there was something I had to work for, and it kind of subsided. And at the same time, I didn't feel the connection that I had when I was pregnant with my son. So when I went into my OB appointment, my first ultrasound, I just had this feeling of, I wouldn't say emptiness, but it's just like I kind of took a breath where I said, you know what? I hope he does find. Well, first, my concern was having the in the right place, right? Because you don't you want to make sure your the sac is in the right place, and to rule out ectopic pregnancy. And so we ruled that out, and he did see the yolk, the sac, and the tadpole, and but no heartbeat. In which, of course, my heart dropped, and um, just took a breath, and I read about how it could be missed or it might be too early, but I just knew that I did my calculation right, that I knew I was at 8 weeks and we should have a heartbeat. But I listened to him, to my OB, and kind of having the positive thought of, like, you know what, we'll give it this few weeks to see if I will progress. But I had told him few days before I had met up with him that I had some brown discharge, in which was normal during pregnancy. And so I kind of, I didn't worry much about it, but at the same time, I was cautious. And I told him it had stopped a day before I had met with him. And then after my OB appointment, it started again, but very light, no clots or anything like that. I was just kind of watching it, and he said it's normal to have brown discharge, but I also was just reading about it and just preparing myself, emotionally, mentally, and physically. I think what really helps too is being an ER nurse. I've seen many women that come to the ER having this type of symptoms as well during the early pregnancy, or even um, second, second, I guess, second trimester or the third, which is not a good thing, of course. But the miscarriage actually decreases when you actually pass and within the time of when it's viable, which is 20 weeks. First trimester, usually the miscarriage happens, in which, in my case, since the baby was, or, my pregnancy was at 6 weeks measuring, that means that there was abnormal chromosome, in which means that there was nothing that I could have done. There was nothing I could have prevented. There was nothing I could have made it better. But it's just the fact that my body will do what it wants to do, and there's no way to control that. I did eat my healthy. I guess I was a little anemic, so I started my folate. But I've been taking my prenatals, my multivitamins, my omegas, my iron plus, and but it wasn't sufficient. Um, but in all reality, I feel that I have done everything I could. It wasn't stress. I did have a lot on my plate in which I was trying to accomplish before the baby comes. That was my thought. So that way I can just be a mom and free myself with all this, um, I would say, things on my plate that I wanted to accomplish, as far as like business and work wise. I just wanted to get things done. But anyhow, long story short, I started bleeding more heavily. And about 3 days ago, I was at work and I saw some clots and tissue. And I said, okay, I think this is it. I tested myself somehow, and it's still positive, but it doesn't really matter whether you test yourself with the pregnancy urine test or you take your blood test, just because my body didn't respond after a month, which my body was trying to hold on to the pregnancy and able to carry, but it's just that my pregnancy is not it's not progressing. So it takes time for your body to I guess acknowledge that hey, there is no pregnancy. And so what usually happens is your cervical, opens up and passes the clots in the tissue. But when that happened, I was gonna go to urgent care a few days, but I said, oh, which was Friday, but I said, you know what? I'm okay. I'm not having a severe abdominal pain or cramping. It's kind of mild. I have high pain tolerance, so I don't really know what is like severe means, but I can tolerate the pain. It was just kind of like soreness, but I knew there was something going on. Um, so I didn't want to spend my night off with my son sitting at urgent care or even ER. And I try to call Kaiser and I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna hang up and email my doctor. So I just emailed my doctor today and or tonight, and I told him that listen, I have been passing clots and tissues started, and after I saw him, which I should have actually emailed him before, but I just kind of wait it out and see and watch it myself, just because I don't usually freak out or anything or worry myself too much, but I know I can handle my body, and I know my body. So anyhow, I just kind of let it go. I allow myself to have the brown discharge and not really do anything about it. I just kind of watch it and until like I saw the clots. So anyhow, I had emailed him and I said I have clots and I'm passing tissues. I am There's bright red blood, and I would like to come in this upcoming week if he can squeeze me in, because he gets back on Wednesday, and I'm hoping he can squeeze me in. He's like the director of the OB department, so he's the only OB that I actually trust. Oh, and he was my OB for my son during my pregnancy, and so he knows me for a while now, and he knows how much I had worked for this pregnancy. and how much I wanted it. But at the same time, I sat myself and kind of laid myself and say, you know what? I have zero control over it. And I believe that what's meant for me will happen. And I can't force life. I can't force things to be given if it's not ready for me or I'm not ready for it. But I'm emotionally and mentally, physically have prepared myself for the worst and for the best. And so I just believe that God has a different plan for me, and I'm not giving up. Perhaps maybe I'll meet someone. I don't know. I just have to open the door. I'm not um, opposed to it, but I guess if it happens, it happens. I guess I was trying to, I love my life. It's hard to have someone and not be on my level of happiness. Like, I'm very free and I love my life and I get up and I go, and I don't want to have to worry about anybody being down or like worrying about their moodiness or their bad days. I just like to be positive and happy. And I always tell my son every time, every morning we wake up, we wake up in a good mood, and that there's no buts, um, be in a good mood and be grateful. So when when I went to my ultrasound with my son, he knows. I think kids are the most emotionally intelligent, and he knows. It's crazy how I don't even say much, but he just kind of gets it on his own. He's only 5 years old, but very, very, very smart kid. And he said, "You know what, mommy? I will always be your baby." And that right there was just, it was a heart stopping, obviously, where he is more than enough. And I wish I can have 10 of him if God allows me to have more kids. But in all reality, I am 42 years old. I know I keep myself healthy. I don't know. I can't really have a conclusion of why there was abnormal chromosomes where it didn't progress to have brain cells and then brain tissue or things like that. So I can't say unless we take a sample and see what's going on. But I don't need to do that. All I can do is try again in the future and see what happens. I mean, right now it's mostly important to give myself a break. Your body obviously is going through a lot. Physically, it's still thinking it's pregnant, but I don't know. I mean, I'll see him this week. He's gonna go in and see if I had passed or if there's even a heartbeat. I don't know, but I know as a nurse that I will not be blind, and to be real with myself and be real with the reality, because I cannot live my life in this, you know, um, thoughts of hope. I mean, I guess we can hope for better things, right? And um, for a better outcome, but at the same time, scientifically speaking, there's just no way, because I don't bleed. I don't, this never happened to me. I've never miscarried. This is all first. And it just feels different. I know my body and I know myself. So I believe that what's meant for me will be. And at this point, I'm truly, truly grateful for this life experience. And I hope that my future is someone that will choose me and my son to be in our family, our little family. And yeah, so we just have to take it a day at a time, um, and just let things be. Um, we can only control little things in life, but moving forward is what the best thing we can do is just our attitude, the way we respond, our reaction, and allow myself to have um, time of to grieve and just acknowledge the loss, which those are normal. All right, we go through dabda with loss. So I'm just forever grateful, and I have my son, and I mean, I can't even say any more because he is more than enough. And I just love this boy. And I know that my future, or if it does ever happen, I would also love him or her the same. So for all those single moms who are going through the same, miscarriage happens, 1 out of 5 pregnancy. And it doesn't mean of the age. It could be for abnormal chromosomes. It could be something that was toxic, which is like drugs, alcohol, which I've never had alcohol ever in my life. I've never done drugs. Stress doesn't really play a role with abnormal chromosome. It's just your genetics, the makeup of genetics. And that is, the everything, your brain, your hair, your legs, your feet, your fingers, everything. So I say that being 42, I cannot change that. I can only take care of myself more and just be ready for the future, um, and hoping that everything will turn out the way I had envisioned. But if not, it's not the end of the world. It's never the end of the world because I can still look around me and be grateful for everything. Because at the same time, same token, there are women out there, or there are a lot of hoping to be a mom but cannot have any children. So that one I know hurts the most. And I'm so sorry for anybody who's going through that, because I can assure you that it's the most devastating feeling as a woman. So I mean, it's crazy how the world works. I have patients who come to the ER, been pregnant for like 5 times, and now is 7 months pregnant, does not know that they're carrying a baby, but the baby is viable, and they're 7 months farther along, and they have no idea, and they don't even want it. So that one hurts too, because it's not fair for any children um, that are unwanted, because it's just a terrible feeling that is just whew, beyond me. I can't really speak for those moms just because I'm not in their shoes. So, but anyhow, I just want to let all the single moms out there who are in the same boat as me to not give up. Keep trying, and God has planned for each one of us, and if it's meant to be, it will be. So, those are my stories. I'm sorry if I just go through the randoms, but I don't have any scripts. This is just like free flowing, whatever comes from my heart. And I'm just being real with myself and with everybody, I guess. So, anyhow, I'll see you guys again. My next OB appointment hopefully is this week when he gets back, and I'm sure he has some idea. And it was very kind of him because he is just more, I guess, in a positive note that he'll find a heartbeat within my original repeat ultrasound is April 11th. So yeah, I don't think I will wait till April 11th. But anyhow, I wish you guys all the best and good luck. And if you have any questions, I'm here. You can watch all my videos of my journey. And thank you so much. And I'll see you again.